Each year, the Library Board hosts these awards to celebrate and recognize the contributions to the preservation and promotion of local history for both the City of Prince George, but also the surrounding areas. We consider all of Northern BC to be part of what's eligible for the Local History Awards. We are so thrilled and so grateful to be able to host this event at the Civic Center this year. We definitely grew it a little bit, and it's great to see everyone come out, show your support, and to really recognize the importance that history has to play for both ourselves in this community and also the future of our community. So thank you for being here. Before we keep on going, I'd like to take a moment to recognize that we are having this event and that the library does operate on the traditional unceded lands of the Lheidli First Nation. We recognize that the history of human activity in our region is to a large extent the history of the Lheidli and other Indigenous peoples. I invite you all just to take a moment right now and think about your own connection to this place, to this land, and your relationship with the reconciliation journey of our nation. So let's just take a moment right now and consider what that looks like for ourselves. Thank you for taking that time to think and to reflect. For myself, before coming to these awards, I always consider that, and my own family history on this land is much shorter than the activity of humans living and working and enjoying this place. So thank you for taking that time to think about your own connection to this place and the people who have lived here for so long before us. I'd also like to take a moment to draw your attention to a few of the cameras that we have in the room. We have Rogers TV that is recording this for us, and a huge thank you to Jonathan Valeroso and their volunteers for filming this year's event to make it available on the Rogers Community Television channel. This is not the first time that we've done it, and we really do appreciate their support of our event and the way that they are really recording this and in a way contributing to celebrating and remembering the historical things that we talk about and all the award winners that are recognized during today's event. And now I'd like to invite Lheidli T'enneh Elder Helen Bouzas to come forward and open this with a traditional welcome.
Good afternoon, Hadi. On behalf of the Lheidli T'enneh members, I welcome you all to the unceded traditional territory of the Lheidli T'enneh. Lheidli has over 900 members. We live, we work, and we play on this territory for over 9,000 years. May the Creator guide you, protect you, watch over you, keep you safe, give you hope and peace and comfort. All my relations.
Thank you, Helen, for being here and for welcoming us and participating in today's event. I'd also just like to take a moment to thank all the people from various governments and other organizations that have spent part of their Sunday afternoon with us in this room today. So we have Mayor Simon Yu, Councillor Susan Scott, Garth Brazil, and Ron Palillo here from the City of Prince George. We also have Lara Beckett from the Regional District of Fraser-Fort George. And I'm really grateful to have a number of my fellow Prince George Public Library trustees with us today. So Vash Abadi Cook, Joseph Jeffrey, Sonia Sidhu, Jennifer Amell, Jen Wilczek, and Luke Spooner are all here today on behalf of the Prince George Public Library Board. So thank you to everyone who came out, and thank you for all that are coming out to represent your own interests and maybe your friends or family members that have been nominated or just have an interest in local history. Thank you for being here. Jeanne Clarke, that's who these awards are named after. She was the Prince George Public Library Board Chair and the founding member of the Prince George Public Library's Local History Committee. She played a key role in establishing the Prince George Public Library's Local History Collection. After her passing, the library board established the Jeanne Clarke Local History Awards as a way to continue her legacy and to really commemorate all the effort and insight that she had into starting that collection and seeing the value of having local history preserved in the library. Established in 1985, the Service Award through the Jeanne Clarke Local History Awards recognizes the outstanding contributions by an individual or a group in the area of local history. In 1993, the Prince George Public Library Board added a publication award so that authors could be recognized for producing an important work of local history. The objective of these awards is to increase interest in local history and to highlight the library's role in preserving and promoting local history, and to recognize individuals and groups and their efforts that they put into understanding the stories, collecting them, and sharing them in a way that really resonates with the people that are reading their materials. Although the primary goal is to recognize the history of Prince George and the surrounding area, local history is broadly defined through these awards to include work that is representative of any area in northern BC. So historical work with a regional focus is eligible for recognition in these awards. As 2025 marks the 40th annual Jeanne Clarke Local History Awards, we would like to take a moment to recognize the previous winners. If you are a previous Service Award winner or a Publication Award winner, please stand up. Thank you so much for all the work that you've done, both in the years where you were nominated and awarded, and also for being here to continue celebrating those who will be recognized this year. So thank you very much. We will continue to honor Jeanne Clarke's legacy at the Prince George Public Library, and we will work to ensure that we acknowledge, promote, and celebrate all the history and the enduring culture in this area. I would like to take a moment to thank some of Jeanne Clarke's family who are here. So if you're here with us, please stand up too. And then I'll... Thank you. And I will call up Heather Henderson, please, one of Jeanne Clarke's daughters, to share a few words on behalf of the family. Please welcome Heather.
Okay, this is slightly redundant to a few things that Anna just said, but we'll carry on anyway. I'm honored, astounded, and to be honest, a little terrified. I did not inherit my mom's public speaking gene, but here I go. My mom was born 99 years ago in South Fort George. Her dad was a civil servant and her mother was a teacher. From an early age, she and her sisters were immersed in a culture of volunteering, from gathering daily weather data, helping newcomers get settled, organizing events for the fall fair, and canvassing, to name a few. Sports and reading were always favorite pastimes. She did not have an opportunity to go on to post-secondary studies because of World War II. However, she had a variety of jobs outside the home. The two that she truly embraced were at the School District Resource Center and the PGSS Library. Joining the Prince George Library Board was a way for her to give back to the community in support of her love of reading and learning. At that time, there was a heated discussion taking place around the need for a new and enlarged public library. She was 100% committed to seeing that happen. It was not a short or an easy battle, but our wonderful current library eventually came to be. Her second passion was increasing access to the history of this area. She felt it was important that people understood the past in all its iterations. When all the publications reflecting local, national, and international histories are grouped together, it's very difficult to showcase these stories and past events. Her vision was to have a special shelf where the local publications could be housed. A quick search for any interested library user. Well, what has transpired is truly astonishing. Her special shelf is now a stack. It was the brainchild of the board members at the time and several employees to create the annual award to honor and further promote my mom's dream, as her life was cut short after an untimely and terminal battle with colon cancer. As we mark the 40th year of this celebration, I know she would be absolutely thrilled to see the growth of knowledge and sharing of our local history. I want to acknowledge the incredible work of the PGPL staff over the last 40 years. Maya Angelou teaches us that when we know better, we do better. And the work that the library has done to honor and educate the North with the stories of the Indigenous people who were here long before my mother or any of my ancestors is work that my family and I feel proud to be associated with. The PGPL staff continue to grow this amazing event in unimaginable ways, as we see. The expansion of the awards to encompass the whole northern portion of BC has led to a recognition of the interconnectedness of places, people, and events over not just decades, not just centuries, but millennia. The incredible service projects undertaken to preserve knowledge and enlighten us all have gone to some incredible members of the community over the past several decades. This year's acknowledgement of Chuck Chin and his phenomenal collection of all things Prince George is such a treasure. I want to acknowledge his family and the body of work we are here tonight to pay tribute to. Certainly, my mother's dreams have been exceeded in every way. I hope in the coming year, all the City Council members can make regular visits to get a true perspective of the value and the myriad opportunities our local library brings to Prince George. Thank you so much to the library staff and the board for your wonderful work.
That was so lovely and such a great recognition of the importance and the long history of the Local History Awards. So thank you, Heather, for sharing a bit more about your mother and how that came about. And yeah, thank you for sharing that story with us. Going to make sure I'm on the right page here because I have a lot to say today. Yes, so we will start with the Publication Award. The Publication Award is open to nonfiction, biographies, historical fiction, or any publication that improves the appreciation and understanding of local history in northern BC. And it has to have been published within the past 2 years preceding the year of selection. Volunteer readers from the Volunteer readers and library board members representing the local history committee spend many, many rewarding hours reading the works that are nominated and discussing the publications. This award recognizes excellence in publication for the promotion and preservation of local or regional history. On behalf of the Local History Committee members, I would like to allow the nominees for the 2024 Jeanne Clarke Publication Award to introduce themselves and their publications in their own words via some videos that have been prepared.
Hi, everyone. My name is Marion McKinnon Crook, and I have written this book, Always on Call, Adventures in Ranching, Adventures in Nursing, Ranching, and Rural Living. I lived in the Cariboo from 1963 to 86, and this book is set in 1975. I presently live on the Sunshine Coast in the Squamish unceded territory. Beautiful place, but not the extreme weather that we get in the Cariboo. I've enjoyed my life in the Cariboo. I had 3 kids, a husband, lived on a ranch, and I worked as a public health nurse. And sometimes into the bush. And Horsefly, Likely, Black Creek was my area. And I had lots of adventures out there because you're on your own with, cars in those days did not have front wheel drive and automatic brakes and anti-lock brakes and all that kind of thing. And so it was a bit rough out there, but I was young and naive still and enjoyed it all. So I wrote it down and I hope you enjoy it as well.
Gold in the mountains. the history of prospecting and mining in the Rosswood and Kitsim-Kalem Lake region of British Columbia. My name is Narma Kirby. I compiled and did the layout for this book, and adjacent to me is Betty Geyer, who's a long-term resident of Rosswood and was the primary source of information for the book.
I came to Rosswood in this beautiful, wide Kitsim-Kalem Valley, surrounded by its wondrous mountains in 1968. At that time, I was privileged to meet some of the colorful characters in this book who are now mostly long gone. One interview took place right here while we drank tea brewed on this old cook stove. I got to wander on some of these mountains and was excited on one high adventure to find the little girl handwriting of my old friend on the walls of an important mining cabin built by her great uncle, for whom Mount Allard is named. In her 70s now, Eileen remembers being tied around her middle for her own safety, while her parents did the hard and dangerous work of mining and prospecting high up on Maroon and in other wild places. Her mother was one of many women whose stories are told in this book. A couple women still alive are hoping to be with you in this audience today. Sharon Ellis, who has shared stories of her ancestors in the book, is wearing the gold brooch made out of a large nugget that belonged to Sharon's great aunt. The brooch is pictured on the last page. Another member of your audience today is Carolyn Christensen. Her father's piles of measured gold from Douglas Creek are pictured on the front cover. Some of Eli's Kitsim-Kalem ancestors were also involved in mining and prospecting here, going back as far as the 1920s. Many members of the Terrace and Regional Historical Society worked extremely hard to ensure that the fascinating stories and photographs are not lost forever, to make sure that concrete geological information is scientifically and historically accurate and that acknowledgement is given to our sources. This book transports the reader as far back as 150 years. It uncovers some secrets and reveals the beauty and wonder that still exists in our mountains and valleys.
Hello. We're honored to be included for consideration for a Jeanne Clarke Local History Award for our 2023 collection of coastal memoirs called Gumboot Guys. I'm here representing the people involved in the creation of our book. Our editor, Lou Allison from Dodge Cove, outside of Prince Rupert, will be joining you in Prince George on our behalf at the awards ceremony. I'm Jane Wild, the compiler of the writers and photos. Our 31 writers are spread all up and down the coast now from their original North Coast homes in the 70s. Our publisher, Caitlin Press, has been a great support over the years. When Lou and I gathered stories for our first book together, called Gumboot Girls, short memoirs of the 1970s women who migrated to the BC North Coast from all over North America, we never dreamed our eventual 4 books would strike such a chord of interest from readers, book buyers, and libraries. The 31 writers, in this our third of the 4 books, capture the adventurous energy of the 1970s, the challenges of rural North Coast living while learning new skills, navigating all aspects of boats and boating, and joining in building vibrant families and communities. Rob Pettigrew writes, I pretty much loved every day on the sea with my family, monitoring the salmon runs returning to Haida Gwaii. Although I'm sad to have witnessed the decline of salmon stocks, I have faith that they will one day return in abundance. I could never have imagined such a great adventure when I landed in Sandspit some 50 years ago. As they reflected on how their 1970s years on the North Coast influenced their lives today, their answers illustrate what a critical decade we experienced together. We like to promote our books as important and sometimes entertaining examples of Canadian rural social history. We feel it's critical to save these stories as unique pieces of BC coastal life in the 1970s. From Jean Logan, I feel privileged to have been in Prince Rupert in the 70s. As for the gang I first met in Prince Rupert, I don't miss them at all. They're all still my dearest friends. And that's the case for many of us. The communities we built 50 years ago are still our friends now. We love libraries. I checked our local library today, and it's showing me holds on Gumboot Guys. We're still circulating. Thank you, Prince George Library Board, for nominating us. Bye-bye.
Hello, my name is Joyce Helweg, and I'm the author and publisher of the book Sleeping with Horses. Being born and raised in the northern portion of British Columbia and having an interest in local history, marrying a cowboy, and being taught at a very early age to journalize my travels all contributed to the end product of this book. For 35 years, I was fortunate to travel throughout the north half of this province, parts of the Chilcotin and Kootenays on horseback during my annual vacation. Every year there would be a story worth remembering. Without all my journals, all the stories became a tanglement of laughter and wonderment that we even survived. When the COVID hammer fell, I dug out my 35 years of handwritten journals and began to type all the information into my computer. I wrote and I laughed my way through the long days of isolation. Then I began to research. Snippets of historical data left behind needed to be added because they answered the questions I had while riding the trails. Then I added directional information, landmarks, where to expect bad roads and no trails were just hints I could leave for future adventurers to find their way. Thank you to those that nominated me for the Jeanne Clarke Award. It's a great honor to be recognized and shortlisted as a finalist for my book, Sleeping with Horses.
Hello, my name is Blair Mirau, and I'm the author of The City of Rainbows, A Colorful History of Prince Rupert. This book offers a new look at how the rainiest and cloudiest city in Canada has grown within what is now called the Great Bear Rainforest. For a small rural and remote community of about 13,000 people, Prince Rupert has a ridiculous wealth of unique stories that simply could not have taken place anywhere else on Earth. And my goal was simply to weave together those stories and events in a way that answers a simple question. How did Prince Rupert get to where it is today? The answer is contained within the metaphor of the title. There's more to the climate of a place than just the weather. Through a series of unfortunate circumstances and really bad timing, Prince Rupert has survived on the attitude of no rain, no rainbow. In that trademark spirit of optimism and resilience, I hope you enjoy this read that took me nearly 3 years to write. Thanks very much.
Good afternoon from Palm Desert, California. I'm sorry that I can't be with you today. I'm Chris Nellis, the editor of Reflections, Interviews of School District 57, Prince George Retired Educators. I'm also the co-chair, along with Cheryl Mikulasik, of the Prince George Retired Teachers Association Education Heritage Committee, and it is this group that undertook this project. The other current members are Robin Naylor, Sandra Hay, Alida McFadden, and Maria Marchetti. Former member Teonokis, as well as Larry Mikulasik, also assisted. We are very pleased that Reflections was chosen as a finalist for the Jeanne Clarke Local History Publication Award for 2025. Thank you to the Library Board and the Selection Committee for this honor. This book, containing interviews of 43 retired educators, was in part inspired by the Prince George Public Library's oral history group that recorded and transcribed detailed interviews with a number of community members over 20 years ago. Several of the participants were teachers, and the School District 57 Heritage Collection, located at École Lac des Bois, has copies of their interviews. Our committee decided in 2019 to begin interviewing other retired educators, focusing mainly on their careers with School District 57. We were successful in interviewing a cross-section of people that included primary, intermediate, and secondary teachers, plus a number of specialty teachers. Administrators and board office personnel were also represented. We organized the interviews by the date that the people completed their teacher training. This has given some historical perspective
to the school district's evolution from 1950s to the 2000s. We thank everyone who participated and are so pleased to have a lasting record of all these experiences. Unfortunately, several of those interviewed for this project have now passed away, and we are especially grateful to have a snapshot of their careers in education. Thank you very much.
The Wild Horses of the Chilcotin, Their History and Future by Wayne McRory. In the remote Chilcotin wild horse country of west central British Columbia, where the vast interior plateau backs into the high ranges of the Coast Mountains, there still survive about 2,800 wild horses. They still run free where, for centuries, they learned to survive with grizzly and black bears, predatory packs of wolves, stealthy mountain lions, winter snows up to their bellies, and winter deep freezes the equivalent of Siberia, with ice over their winter forage. The Chilcotin's wild horses are romantic and beautiful, but they are also controversial, labeled by government policy as intruders competing for rangeland with native species and domestic cattle. As a result, they have been subject to culls and are not officially protected. In this compelling book, renowned wildlife biologist Wayne McRory draws upon 2 decades of research to make a case for considering these wonderful creatures, called cayuse in traditional Chilcotin culture, a resilient part of the area's balanced pre-predator ecosystem. McRory also chronicles the Chilcotin wild horses' genetic history and significance to the Chilcotin people, juxtaposing their efforts to protect cayuse against movements to cull them. As McRory establishes in the book's introduction, on my first Chilcotin field trip, I wrestled with my own negative feelings about any type of feral animal, including wild horses. But then I had a strange dream about a magic stone horse. In my Technicolor dream world, I was on a solo journey, hiking along wild horse trails through a vast bunchgrass prairie to reach a legendary indigenous spiritual mountain called Silos, the man who turned to stone. In the local indigenous belief system, he was a guardian and protector of the Chilcotin horse nation. Along the way, I encountered a beautiful stone horse blocking my path. That strange dream launched me into my own long ride into the wild horse's history and survival.
Cha Judith Ich, We Always Find a Way, Bringing the Chilcotin Title Case Home by Lorraine Weir with Chief Roger William. The Chilcotin title case was a 25-year battle in Canadian courts and the first case in Canada to result in a declaration of Aboriginal rights and title to a specific piece of land. This publication represents nearly a decade of interviews that share a community oral history of the case and centers around the tireless visionary power of Chief Roger William. As Weir states in the introduction, in the analogy I used to describe the book to contributors, Chief Roger's narrative is like the spine of a salmon, while the narratives by all other contributors are like its lateral bones and fins. Chief Roger's vision for this book was that it would be an act of restorative justice, sharing the stories of the Haiyagwatins in a way that would resonate with both Indigenous and non-Indigenous readers. Lorraine Weir, who worked as an oral history professor at UBC throughout much of the creation of this publication, was tasked with interviewing many people connected to the title case and recording their stories, which are now shared in this book. Chief Roger's final comments speak to the way the book is both a publication and an ongoing act. I hope that Cha Judith Ich will spark more stories and inspire more Indigenous peoples and nations to have hope and move forward on their journeys towards recognition and strengthening their cultures. And I hope that non-Indigenous people who read this book will learn from our stories of what we have been through and be inspired by our fight for our Aboriginal rights and title, and for our lands, water, and resources.
To all our nominees, you honor us, and we thank you for your work. As we meet on the traditional unceded territory, the Lheidli, I want to share an anecdote that has double meaning today. Just last night, Councillor Scott, Mayor, you and I joined more than 200 people at a dinner at the College of New Caledonia celebrating Black History Month. And at that event, Jacob Magite shared the word Sankofa from his heritage in Akangana. The term literally means go back and get it. And he explained that it symbolizes the importance of learning from the past so that we can build a better future. In a time when it feels like distant politics continues to challenge our identity every day, it's all the more important to look around you to the community that we all know. Make time to hear the stories about where we come from and how we got there. There's a lot of work and wisdom and Sankofa in the history these authors have put forward. Thank you to all the publication finalists who are with us today. And I'd just ask you to stand for a round of applause. Sharon Ellis and Carolyn Christensen, Chief Roger William, Lou Allison, Joyce Helwig, Cheryl McClassic, and representatives of the School District 57 Retired Teachers Association. Please stand. And we'd also like to recognize the finalists who are unable to be with us today. Elaine Temple, Lorraine Weir, Wayne McCrory, Jane Wild, Blair Mirau, Marion McKinnon-Crook, and Chris Nellis. So, we're now pleased to announce the winner of this year's Jeanne Clarke Publication Award. And the award this year will go to Blair Mirau for his publication, City of Rainbows, A Colorful History of Prince Rupert. Congratulations, Blair. Blair's not able to be with us today, but he has prepared some comments. So can we roll his comments?
Thank you so much to the Prince George Library Board and the awards panel for recognizing my work on writing my hometown history about Prince Rupert, the City of Rainbows. I'm really, truly honored and frankly a little surprised by the recognition, and I'm really sorry I couldn't be there with everyone to celebrate in person. This book simply would not have been possible without the steady support of the teams at the Prince Rupert Library and Prince Rupert Archives, teaching me how to use a microfilm reader or find obscure articles from the turn of the century. I need to thank the hundreds of authors whose works I cited and really want to highlight the importance of the Prince Rupert Daily News and the local library for protecting its archives. You know, it's been said that newspapers are the first draft of history, and having access to that reliable local media is critically important now more than ever. You know, I firmly believe that the stories that we tell ourselves matter, and for too long, the only story that most people seem to know about Prince Rupert is that it rains a lot here. And it's true, we are the rainiest, cloudiest, and least sunny city in Canada, hence the nickname. But as the old saying goes, no rain means no rainbow. And I would add that, you know, no rain means no rainforest. It takes a certain grit and tenacity to weather all of the storms here, both literally and figuratively. So to steal a line from the comedian Johnny Harris when he was visiting with CBC Still Standing, he said that Rupertites are a glass half full type of personality because we know if we just stick that half full glass out the window, it'll be full in no time. So my hope is that if you get a chance to read my book, that you'll come to see Prince Rupert is a unique place, but we're defined by far more than rain and rainbows, but actually by the optimism and the resilience that's fueled us. So I dedicate this award to my hometown and to its people. I'm so grateful and humbled to even be considered in this conversation amongst so many deserving nominees. Thank you all again for this really, truly incredible and very humbling honor.
I'm going to hold on to that glass half full comment. That was good. Significance of this award can be best recognized and expressed by its past recipients. And we're honored that last year's publication award winner, Catherine Palmer Gordon, has prepared a few words to congratulate Blair.
Hello, everyone. My name's Catherine Palmer Gordon, and I'm the author of This Place Is Who We Are, Stories of Indigenous Leadership, Resilience, and Connection to Place, last year's winner of the Jeanne Clarke Literary Prize for History. First of all, Blair, congratulations on being this year's winner of this prestigious and wonderful award. It is a huge honor to be recognized, and I'm sure you must be very happy. For me, it's a real honor to join you and the other 38 authors whose names have been on this award during the 40 years of its existence. Our books are part of an incredible lexicon of British Columbian stories, and I'd like to thank Jeanne Clarke, her family, and the organizers of this award every year for all that you do to salute the stories of the north of this province and the authors who write them. Masi Cho, thank you.
Thank you. As a final note, as a trustee for the library, I urge you to go to the library and borrow these books. Again, congratulations to Blair and to all of the publications finalists. You make the North better. Thank you.
Just to build off Garth's comments there at the end, Books and Company does have a list of all the nominees for the Publication Award, and they have brought in a few extra copies of those books. So if you're looking to purchase your own copy and not borrow from the library, both are a win, so no judgment about which one you choose. But you can buy the books from Books and Company or check them out from the library. And as we know, there are 2 awards to present today. The second one is the Service Award. It celebrates truly outstanding service in the field of local history and is granted to an individual or an organization for significant contributions to the preservation and promotion of local history. When the Local History Committee considers the Service Award, it is often from a similar list of nominations year after year. These are the people who contribute to the preservation of local history through their daily lives, their actions, their stories, and their creative and their artistic creations. This year, we have the bittersweet honor of awarding the 2024 Local History Service Award to an outstanding local photographer, the late Chuck Chin. Chuck Chin suddenly passed away on January 20th, 2024, and he was such a beloved figure in Prince George, known for his warm heart, his kind smile, and his extraordinary talent of capturing the essence of the community through his photography. For over 18 years, he shared literally thousands of images on social media, celebrating the beauty of Prince George, the amazingness of the people that make this place so special, and capturing both everyday moments and those unique celebrations that will be remembered for truly generations. The significance of Chuck's contributions as a preserver and as a communicator of local events can best be expressed by others in the field. And so I'd like to invite Darren Rigo, another local photographer, to share a few thoughts.
Hello. There's a phrase we all know, maybe one of the most overused in the English language. A picture says 1,000 words. It's such a cliche that I almost hesitate to bring it up here today. However, I think this is why when you try to put words to a photographer's work, to try to explain what made their images matter, it feels impossible. Something I've come to understand about the art of photography is that truly great photographers don't just show us the world, they help shape it. I believe Chuck Chin understood that deeply. To try to find the words to honor Chuck, his family, his legacy, I'm just not sure I can do that in the few minutes I have with you this afternoon. Chuck's impact on our community, its history, its present, and the way that that legacy will live on, I just need to emphasize that words fall short of that feeling. And I think all of us who appreciated Chuck's work know what I mean when I say that. Honestly, I think many in the audience who know me and who knew Chuck might be a little confused as to why I'm up here talking. Chuck did not know me particularly well. In fact, one of the first times I ever spoke with Chuck was on a morning autumn walk around Cottonwood Island with my wife. I was taking photos with a new camera, and we quite literally almost tripped over Chuck, who was crouching taking a photo behind a tree. We stopped to introduce ourselves, and he cut me off and he said, "Oh, I know who Darren Rigo is. It's the new kid on the block. I've been watching you." Might have sounded creepy coming from anyone other than Chuck. We exchanged our niceties, and I told him I was a big fan, and then we were on our way. As he walked out of earshot, and my wife is in the crowd and can vouch for this exact moment, I turned to her and exclaimed, as only a true fan could, "Oh my gosh, Chuck Chin knows my name?" I wanted to tell that story, not just to brag that Chuck knew my name, which is an honor, a badge of honor I still wear today, but because I think that story really tells us how many of us felt about Chuck. We felt like we knew him. He was such a recognizable and consistent character in our community. His work was so inspiring to so many people, and I'm just not sure he had any idea of how deep those feelings were for some of us. And I just want to say it here, in front of all of you, on the official record, as far as Prince George celebrities go, Chuck was without a doubt the coolest. Chuck and I went on to run into each other many more times covering events. We exchanged photographs of each other from time to time on Facebook. We'd show each other new lenses we'd acquired. I know this is another cliche as old as time, but as I stand here right now, I can only just say I wish I could have told him that in a very meaningful way. I'm not sure I'd be the photographer I am, or even the proud member of this community, without his work. He really showed me and us that taking photographs of the city and its people is not just a hobby or a job, but it's an act of love. Over the many years and to this very day, whenever I need to clear my head and get through a creative block, I'll grab my camera and tell my wife that I'm going out for a Chuck Chin walk. And then, of course, there's this photography. I find myself asking again, where do I even begin? His photographs were a regular reminder for all of us that Prince George is a beautiful city. Even on the ugliest, brownest, snow-meltiest days in February, I feel like he could find an angle, a view, or a piece of it that we hadn't seen before that reminded you that there was beauty in this city. It wasn't just landscapes or cityscapes, it was people. Chuck had this instinct for capturing as what I've come to know as the moments between the moments. And sure, he'd photograph the drummers on stage at Clayton Park or the Spruce Kings offensive line celebrating a goal, but he'd also notice a mom dancing with her kids to the side of the stage, or the coach giving the rookie a pep talk on the bench. He'd photograph all of it. He'd arrive early to events to get photographs of the event staff setting up, because he knew that the story of this place isn't just the landmarks, it's the people who care about it. And in doing that, he didn't just document Prince George, he helped define how we saw it. That's what great photographers do. They don't just reflect the world back at us, they shape our relationship with it. They teach us to pay attention. Losing someone like Chuck is hard, but the work of a photographer has this rare, beautiful quality. It outlives them. Chuck's way of seeing the world, his ability to find beauty in the often overlooked, to notice and honor the everyday moments, that's still here. His images remain, and his perspective remains. And so this afternoon, in this small way, I see this award as acknowledging that. We recognize not just Chuck's immense talent, but his generosity, the way he gave the city back to itself through his photographs. And before I invite Chuck's children, Leanne and Alex, up to accept the award, I do want to take a moment to acknowledge Chuck's family. Behind every great photographer, especially one as dedicated as Chuck, there are those who support him, who make space for their work, who share the time and energy it takes to create that work. For Chuck to be out there capturing the city, its people, its moments, and all of its stories, it meant there was times where he was away from home, editing late into the night, always chasing that perfect shot. It's a feeling I know well. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for sharing him with us, for supporting his passion, and allowing his work to become such an important piece of our community. His photos, his perspective, his love for this place, they are gifts that will continue to inspire us. And I hope I can speak for everyone here when I say that your dad meant a great deal to many people, myself very much included. And so with that said, I'd like to invite Alex and Leanne up. And I know we just did it, but I want to give them one big round of applause one final time.
You can go ahead. I have mine.
Oh.
I have mine.
You got notes? Oh, I don't have notes. No notes.
So I told you to go first.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thanks for, I'd like to say thank you to the library, all of us members, the board, for nominating Dad for this award. I guess I have a few things to say, I guess. So when we started with all these pictures taking, I didn't really think anything of it. I figured it was just a thing that he's going to do to keep him busy. And slowly we started getting more followers and started becoming a pretty big impact on the city. Me and my friends, we used to joke about when we were playing music shows or whatever, we wanted to become PG famous. I had no idea that my dad would be more PG famous than I would ever be. But that just kind of speaks to how he was as a person. He would, his dedication to showing the city off with pictures, and his dedication to the community, taking pictures not just of bridges and sunsets, but going to the public markets, making sure to take photos of every booth, making sure everyone got exposure. It was him taking pictures of the minor hockey kids playing hockey and making them feel like big superstars with their nice posed pictures, and being able to share them with their family that's not here in town or other people around the city, and just being able to show off Prince George in the best light. And I think that all his contributions are definitely what this award is about, and we're very happy to accept it on his behalf. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Here we go. I'm going to try not to cry and make anyone else cry, but we'll see. So on behalf of our family, thank you. I'm Leanne. Oops. I'm Chuck's daughter, and Alex, of course, son, and Mom is in the audience. Hi, Mom. So again, just thank you, yes, to the library board, the committee, and also like Anna for emceeing, and then Paul and Amy for getting us involved and contacting us. We found out about this in like October, and it was kind of funny because it was kind of right on the heels of after Dad, we went and accepted the King Charles Medal, and we were like, oh, okay, this is great. And then Mom's like, yeah, I got some news for you. And I was like, oh, okay, what? And oh, there's another award. Oh, okay. So, but it's great. Like, it's been a crazy ride. It's been just over a year. And, this is a great opportunity for us now, after all this time, to just be able to publicly thank everybody in the community for their kindness and support to our family in this last year. And like Alex said, this award just represents how much Dad cared about the city, and in turn the community is now thanking him for it, and us, and we're fortunate that our family will always have a reminder of him. No matter where we go in this town, he's still everywhere, and it's great. My kids, when they grow up, they've seen some of the stuff, but there'll always be a part of him here, whether or not be like the images at the airport that I see when we come and go from town, or there's the shelter in the bench at Cottonwood, there's the picnic table up at Ridgeview Park, even like local businesses that use his work. Like I ordered some pizza from Domino's the other day, and I'm sitting there, the one in the heart, and was looking at the picture on the wall like, oh, yeah, hi Dad, okay, that's cool. But yeah, so his presence will always be here, and our family is very fortunate that, not everyone else is gets this opportunity, so we're very honored to have this award. And yeah, and just me being up here and Alex being up here, like, if you were to ask me to do this a year ago, I'd be like, no, that's him. I'm not going to do any of this. But just in this last year of all the work that has been asked to participate with the community and the Community Foundation, who I also thank for setting up the Legacy Fund. I was working with them to collect donations, and just, it's made me more comfortable talking up here to the public. And I feel like that has really just made me understand Dad more, because he was out taking pictures and I'm with my kids. I'm like, okay, yeah, at my job, people come in and they find out who I was. They're like, oh, you're Chuck's daughter. I'm like, yeah. Oh, your kids are really cute. I've seen them on his Facebook. I'm like, cool, thanks. But yeah, no, I feel that now, having gone out and seen that side of him more, it's really made me connect and understand him. So I feel like this is very timely for me to come up and say thank you, but also sort of be able to address that part of him that I wasn't able to a year ago. So, and then lastly, as far as the last thing I wanted to say was as far as his presence in town, and I will always remember him. This was just probably last month, my friends and I were at the library because we were in the study room upstairs, having some fun, doing a jigsaw puzzle. I noticed the plaque on the wall in study room 2 was actually the list of the past Jeanne Clarke Award Service Award winners. So I was like, oh, Dad's going to be up there in a few months. So now if I go up there again and do some puzzling with my friends, I'll be able to see his name. So thank you.
Thank you, Leanne, Alex, Darren, for sharing those thoughts and those reflections. And it is so great, and I'm so grateful that you were able and willing to share those thoughts with all of us here, as you shared Chuck so much, as Darren mentioned, just through all of his photography and time out and about. So thank you for sharing a bit more of that personal side that doesn't always come through in an image that maybe we see on Facebook or in the airport or other places. So thank you so much for that. I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention, Leanne alluded to it, but it was Shirley Bond actually that put the library in contact with the Chin family. So that happened many, many, many months ago. This has been in the library's mind for quite some time. So, and I do believe Shirley Bond is here today. Yes, so thank you so much for thinking of that and making that connection, and that we could then honor the amazing contributions that Chuck made to Prince George, the people here, and to the north. So maybe just a round of applause for Shirley also. And I will point out that we do have a selection of some photographs from Chuck on display in the Prince George Public Library, the downtown branch, in the stairwell. They will be there for the rest of this month. A huge thank you to all that reviewed thousands and thousands of images to choose the ones to hang in that stairwell, and that includes Philomena Hughes, another photographer from Prince George, who really helped the library staff with that collection and curation. Library staff are great at books, and Philomena is excellent with images, so we're really grateful for that. We do have a guest book that library staff put together for Chuck, so if you are there for the remainder of this month and want to leave a few notes of encouragement or any comments, please do sign the guest book that's in the stairwell, and we will make sure to pass those along to you. And another contribution to and recognition of the work and the legacy that he has left us with. It is, of course, impossible to hang all of Chuck's photos in a stairwell. So some other people did the extra work and put together a slideshow of some of the other favorite photos. So we'll take a moment just to play a slideshow of some of Chuck's other images going up now.
Gradually,
As Leanne had mentioned, there is a plaque in study room number 2 at the library of previous service award winners, and we are so very grateful to have another previous service award winner with us today, and that is Kim Gucci. And she received the service award in 2022 for her ongoing work to preserve Lheidli T'enneh history, culture, and the Decal language through her music and her art. Her grandmother, Mary Gucci, also won the award in 2020. You may have seen Kim's name a little bit more in the news lately, as she is a Juno Award nominee for her work. So I am no expert in the history of the Jeanne Clarke Local History Awards, but I do believe we may have never had a Juno Award nominee share music with us. So I would like to invite Kim up to share a song.
I'm feeling so shy right now. Hi, everybody. Howdy. It's so wonderful to be here, to be able to witness all of the incredible talent and the incredible work that is being done that does not often get recognized. And there were so many wonderful publications, and I'm super happy that the young fellow won up there in Prince Rupert. And I don't know if you noticed his artwork in the top of his screen was children's artwork, and I just thought it was so special how he incorporated that into his into the screen. And I just appreciate being here, being able to sit with Chuck's family, and just the way I'm welcome into the space. I've been involved with the Jeanne Clarke Service Awards. I believe this is my 3rd year. And knowing that my grandmother, Mary Gucci, had won it posthumously, and I actually never even knew what that word meant, so she's still teaching me. I realized that history is very much still today because of awards like this and events like this and the bringing together of people like this. And I'm very excited to be able to share a song with you that brings some history into the now, because in 2008, I received a Canada Council grant to research and write some songs in the Daketh language. And I still, to this day, do not profess to be a language speaker. I am still very much a learner, and I've been told recently when I say that I don't believe I will ever be like a language speaker. I am definitely a language protector, and I'm able to do that in my music. And so I'm very grateful for the people who have taught me, and another person who is a recent recipient of the Jeanne Clarke Service Award was the late Edie Frederick. And I want to acknowledge her today, and for all of her all of the incredible work that she's done for our community. And also want to acknowledge Bill Poser. I see him in the room. He is also a language protector and linguist that has worked very closely with not only my grandmother, but also with Edie, and continues to work with our community. So thank you, Bill. Merci. So during the time when I was doing the research and recording, it was 2008. Can anybody imagine how we recorded back in 2008? I don't believe a cell phone had that capability, but I did have a little digital recorder. So I would record my grandmother, Mary, and I was able to transfer that recording onto a disc, because that was like a sure way of keeping things. And that's one very important thing about all of this, is having multiple archives, whether it's digital, CD, wherever it's going to be. Email it to somebody and just keep all the records, because so much has been lost. And that's a huge reason why Claytley is in this position, is there's so much that has been recorded on tape that has deteriorated, and these are stories, this is history that we don't have. So find all of those ways. So in doing that, I had taken that digital recording and had it put onto a disc, a CD-ROM, so they call them. And when I headed into the studio to record this Juno-nominated album, I brought that disc with me because I wanted to have my grandmother's voice on my album, particularly this song. And so brought the CD into this brand new studio in Smithers, Sonic Quinn Studio, and there was nowhere to plug it in. It was like, what? So Elijah went out into his little shed or wherever, and he grabbed this very dusty CD player, blew off all the dust, pulled this cord out of a closet, and he plugged it in to the soundboard, and my grandmother's voice appeared in the studio. And it was just, we were all like, I even get teary and shivers thinking about it. And so that became a part of this album. And this album is so important, it's so deeply personal, because it's about capturing those moments. It also, I've captured my mother's heartbeat because I thought it was a really cool percussion. I've captured my grandchildren's giggles. I've captured them repeating and singing along. I went into Nasdeyo and captured some children's voices there. So it's truly a family and community project. And so I could really appreciate when some of these nominees were speaking about and acknowledging the people that have helped them to get to this place, because it truly does take, it's not just me standing here. So when I get to the Junos, I will have a speech, but I'm not going to do that today. So I want to sing the song for you, and this is Atsu Shan. Atsu means grandmother, Shan is song, and my grandmother, my Atsu, was very instrumental in helping me to craft this song, and I want to share that here today.
And it's in hunting, we're fishing, and we're picking berries. Well, hey, hey, well, hey, 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 oh, well, hey, 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 oh. Well, hey, hey, well, hey, 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 oh, well, hey, 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 oh. Today's Natalia. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. An amazing theme that comes out of this is not just thinking about history, but thinking about the people that we're sharing history with and the people that we're with in this room as we come together and celebrate the work of authors and other artists to make sure that we're remembering the things that have happened in northern BC and that we're celebrating them. So thank you all who have shared, thank you for all who have written and created, and thank you to all who are here to commemorate these awards. It really is the importance of spending the time to learn about our history, to remember it, to celebrate the people that allows us to continue doing it. So thank you for being here. This year's awards were a lot bigger than usual for the Prince George Public Library, and there was a lot of people that came together to make sure that they happened in an incredible way. So I'd like to take a moment to say thanks to some of the people. I may miss some because it was an incredible collaboration, so if I do, my apologies in advance. But to start off with the Chin family, thank you for all your sharing and the work that you put into gathering photos to share with library staff, to put together and sharing some memories and some stories. Thank you. Thank you to Darren Rigo also for sharing his experience with Chuck and what that looks like for him as a photographer in the Prince George community and for so many others. Thank you to Kim Gucci for sharing that song with us and for sharing the importance of family history in that way and how our families can really support us as we move forward and keep us grounded. Helen Buzas, who provided our welcome earlier this afternoon. Philomena Hughes also spent a lot of time curating some of Chuck's photos and helping us get those together into the exhibit that is in the library right now. WD West Photography printed those photos, so we're really grateful for their work. Amy Dejanel of Monogram Communications spent a lot of time supporting us to make this into the event that you see it today. Typically we host this event in the library in the Keith Gordon room, so this was a scale up for sure for the library, and we did it with a lot of her support. Library staff, led by Library Director Paul Burry, spent a lot of time and effort on this. Some key staff were Larissa Clotilde, Larissa Bezerra, Elizabeth Hanna, and Charmaine Rosium. The board members and the local history committee, including all the people who read the publication awards. It's fun reading, it's fun learning, but it also is a little bit of homework when maybe you're not used to having homework in your busy life. So thank you to everyone who spent the time reading those books, but also forming opinions and adjudicating them to make sure that they fit the intent of these awards and that they were deserving, and they certainly were deserving. So thank you to those who did the legwork of reading the books, and now everyone else can go read these carefully curated lists of nominees. Huge thanks also to the Prince George Conference and Civic Center for hosting us for this amazing afternoon, and for Books and Company for responding to the library when we share the list of nominated publications and bringing in a few extra books just to make sure that we are able to access them and purchase them for our own collections if you so choose. So thank you to everyone who had such a huge role to play in making this, and thank you everyone else for coming here this afternoon. We're nearing the end, and just before I say one last thank you, we're so grateful to all the storytellers, both who make the publications and put pen to paper, light to film. I'm not quite sure that photography, I should have thought that one through. But for all those who collect the memories of our place and share them, Thank you very much, and thank you for celebrating the history of all the people in Prince George and Northern BC. Thank you for coming, and have a great evening.